In the distant eastern Jingliuli world, the medicine Buddha illuminates countless realms with boundless wisdom and light, bestowing endless compassion and liberation upon all beings. Legend has it that the three sacred epithets of the medicine Buddha contain miraculous power, capable of resolving all ailments, eliminating karmic obstacles from vegetarian practices, and helping beings attain ultimate liberation of body and mind. What exactly are these three epithets? Why do they possess such miraculous abilities to heal suffering and dispel sickness? Today, I will join everyone in uncovering this ancient secret and exploring how the medicine Buddha uses these three epithets to illuminate the hearts and bodies of countless beings. The medicine Buddha was once a prince in a kingdom of Eastern sacred land. From a young age, he exhibited extraordinary wisdom and compassion. In his youthful heart, he always harbored a profound aspiration to help all beings alleviate suffering, especially to heal those tormented by illness. The prince's medical skills were exceptional, and he cured countless patients. However, as time passed, he gradually realized that merely healing the body was far from addressing the root of the problem. Whether commoners or nobles in the palace, despite finding relief from their ailments through his treatments, they still inevitably faced new diseases and troubles. The prince deeply understood that the suffering of beings did not solely stem from physical defects, but had deeper roots in the afflictions and karmic forces within the human heart. He began to ponder, why are even those with wealth and power often plagued by illness? Why are some beings born healthy and long-lived, while others suffer from sickness and hardship throughout their lives? These questions troubled him deeply, leading him to meditate repeatedly in the herbal garden. Day after day, his confusion remained unresolved, growing even more intense. By then, he was no longer just a prince, but a young man weighed down by sorrow, his heart filled with compassion for the suffering of all beings. Finally, one day, as he was deep in thought alone in the palace late at night, moonlight streamed through the window, gently and peacefully illuminating the medicinal herbs. Suddenly, a serene radiance appeared before him, reflecting the confusion in his heart. The light gradually coalesced into a majestic Buddha, adorned in splendid robes, hands forming a mudra, smiling gently at him. At that moment, it was as if the prince had realized something profound. The fog in his heart suddenly dissipated. The Buddha spoke in a gentle and compassionate tone. "Noble one, your compassion has moved the Buddhas of the 10 directions. However, to alleviate the suffering of sentient beings, relying solely on medical healing is insufficient. The suffering of sentient beings stems from 3 causes. First, the karmic retribution of past actions. Second, the afflictions of the mind. And third, unresolved karmic ties related to vegetarianism. If you sincerely wish to save all sentient beings and relieve their suffering, you must attain enlightenment and cultivate supreme wisdom. Only then can you thoroughly liberate their bodies and minds." Hearing these words, the prince's heart was instantly illuminated. The Buddha's teachings went beyond superficial ailments, pointing to a deeper truth of spiritual practice. All suffering originates from ignorance and karma. To truly eradicate suffering, one must liberate sentient beings from their afflictions at the root, helping them understand causality and purify their minds. Only in this way can they fundamentally transcend sickness and confusion. The prince made a resolute vow. "I wholeheartedly commit to cultivating the path of Buddhahood. May I, in the future, attain enlightenment and completely relieve the suffering of all sentient beings, not only healing their physical ailments, but also eradicating the afflictions and ignorance in their hearts. Only then can sentient beings truly escape the sea of suffering and attain genuine peace and joy." At that moment, his eyes shone with the light of wisdom, and the doubts and confusion in his heart vanished entirely. It was as if, in that very instant, he had reached a profound harmony with the universal truth. From then on, the prince embarked on a deeper path of spiritual practice. He continued to study medicine and heal the sick, but he also began to delve into the teachings of the Buddha, learning how to heal the minds of sentient beings through wisdom and compassion. He traveled far and wide, visiting eminent monks from various traditions, absorbing the essence of the Dharma. Diligent and unwavering, he devoted himself day and night, striving not only to cure physical illnesses, but also to help sentient beings overcome inner ignorance and suffering. Throughout his long journey of cultivation, the prince gradually understood that the path of practice was not merely for his own liberation but also to enable him, upon attaining Buddhahood, to guide all sentient beings. His compassion grew ever stronger. He aspired not only to achieve enlightenment himself, but also to use the wisdom he had acquired to aid all beings trapped in the cycle of suffering. He made 3 great vows, which became the fundamental vows for his future attainment of Buddhahood. These 3 vows became the powerful source of strength for Medicine Buddha to universally deliver all sentient beings after attaining Buddhahood. These vows are not empty slogans but the most genuine determination and power in Medicine Buddha's practice. The first vow: may I, upon attaining Buddhahood, have a body like lapis lazuli, purifying body and mind, illuminating the worlds of the 10 directions, enabling all sentient beings to be free from suffering and attain peace and happiness. The second vow: may I, with the light of wisdom, dispel ignorance and afflictions, helping all sentient beings to attain complete enlightenment. The third vow: may I enable all sentient beings to understand cause and effect, cease evil and cultivate goodness, thoroughly purify their minds, and liberate themselves from all suffering. These 3 great vows ultimately enabled the prince to achieve enlightenment, and he became Medicine Master Lapis Lazuli Light Tathagata, possessing supreme wisdom and compassion. Medicine Buddha not only symbolizes the purity and flawlessness of the body, but his wisdom and light illuminate the worlds of the 10 directions, helping countless sentient beings overcome suffering and resolve confusion and afflictions of the mind. Medicine Buddha's attainment is precisely the result of the vows he made and his cultivation. This compassion and vow power have become a Dharma door for countless sentient beings to liberate themselves from suffering. After attaining enlightenment, Medicine Buddha possessed supreme wisdom and compassion. Each of his vows carries immense energy, shining universally throughout the 10 directions. However, although the Buddha's light is omnipresent, he still deeply understood that true liberation does not lie solely in his own divine power and vows, but in how to transmit this boundless compassion and wisdom to every sentient being. Thus, Medicine Buddha transmitted 3 Buddha recitations. These 3 recitations are not only the embodiment of his personal vows but also a life-saving treasure for all suffering sentient beings in the world. Each of these 3 Buddha recitations contains profound wisdom and powerful meritorious energy. Medicine Buddha compassionately told sentient beings that these 3 Buddha recitations correspond to 3 types of suffering: karmic obstacles from past lives, habitual tendencies in the present, and the afflictions and ignorance deep within the mind. Each recitation can help sentient beings eliminate suffering at different levels, bringing immeasurable merit and blessings. The first Buddha recitation, Namo Medicine Buddha of extended life and eliminated calamities, possesses the miraculous power to resolve karmic obstacles from past lives. Medicine Buddha explained that many of the sufferings of sentient beings originate from evil karma accumulated in past lives, just like seeds. When the time is ripe, they will sprout, manifesting as various illnesses and disasters. This Buddha's name can dissolve those past karmic obstacles, just as sunlight melts ice and snow, allowing sentient beings to attain liberation. Master Yao Shi gave an example, recounting a celestial being who once suffered from a severe illness due to evil deeds from a past life. This celestial being experienced endless pain, but ever since he began sincerely reciting this Buddha's name, his karmic obstacles gradually diminished, and his illness likewise lessened. Ultimately, he regained his health, his heart filled with gratitude and thankfulness. Master Yao Shufo gently added that this is precisely the power of the Buddha's name. It can relieve all reciters of their karmic obstacles and restore their physical and mental health. The second Buddha's name, Namo Riguang Bien Zhao Shufo, is for breaking through the various bad habits and ignorance of sentient beings in their present lives. Master Yao Shufo continued his teachings, explaining that many illnesses do not directly stem from evil karma, but are caused by poor lifestyle habits and negative mental states. Overindulging in rich foods, giving in to excessive desires, sleeping erratically with days and nights reversed. All such bad habits ultimately lead to physical weakness and the onset of illness. Master Yao Shufo's wisdom shone brightly as he said that the light contained within this Buddha's name can illuminate ignorance and open the door to wisdom for sentient beings. When sentient beings recite this Buddha's name, it is like lighting a lamp in the darkness. All obscurity will be dispelled. The light of wisdom will guide them toward a correct way of life, thus avoiding the physical and mental afflictions brought about by ignorance. Master Yao Shufo's compassion once again emerged as he reminded sentient beings that if they can recite this Buddha's name, they will be able to clear away all bad habits and move toward a healthy life. The third Buddha's name, Namo Lu Liguang Yao Shufo, is the fundamental source of Master Yao Shufo, representing the purification of the inner mind and the elimination of afflictions. Master Yao Shufo's gaze swept lovingly over the sentient beings present and said, "Sentient beings attract illness and pain due to inner afflictions and attachments, anger, jealousy, greed, arrogance. These impurities in the heart continuously erode our body and mind, making it impossible for us to attain inner peace and tranquility." Lu Li symbolizes purity and flawlessness, and this Buddha's name precisely helps sentient beings restore the innate purity and wisdom within their hearts. He continued his teachings, explaining that when sentient beings recite this Buddha's name, their minds become as clear and unobstructed as Lu Li. The afflictions in their hearts will gradually purify, and their illnesses will likewise lessen or disappear. Master Yao Shufo's words deeply moved every sentient being present, and they seemed to feel inner peace and clarity rising within them. Bit by bit, Master Yao Shufo added, "The power of these three Buddhas' names originates from the merit of my cultivation across countless kalpas. The first chant of the Buddha's name carries my great vow, the second chant embodies my wisdom and light, and the third chant reflects my compassionate strength. When sentient beings recite these chants with utmost sincerity, they can resonate with these three powers I have invoked, receiving immeasurable benefits." At this moment, the entire Dharma assembly was filled with an aura of peace and radiance. The sentient beings felt an indescribable blessing and power as the suffering and ailments within their hearts gradually began to dissipate. The compassionate teacher Buddha earnestly advised the sentient beings that while reciting these three chants of the Buddha's name, they must concentrate wholeheartedly, maintain a pure mind, free themselves from distracting thoughts, and generate the Bodhi mind. Only in this way can they truly resonate with the Buddha's name and attain its spiritual response. He further explained that, in addition, they should dedicate the merits gained to all sentient beings, allowing them to share in this compassion and wisdom. Only by doing so can they truly liberate all beings, helping them to transcend suffering and attain joy. Under the guidance of the compassionate teacher Buddha, every sentient being in the Dharma assembly felt the profound impact brought by the recitation of the Buddha's name. The afflictions and pains within their hearts were gradually purified. The three chants of the Buddha's name not only healed physical ailments, but also brought light and liberation to the hearts of sentient beings. These three chants were like a tangible manifestation of the compassionate teacher Buddha's great vow of compassion, bestowing immeasurable blessings and endless merits upon every reciter. As the compassionate teacher Buddha imparted the three chants of the Buddha's name, the atmosphere of the Dharma assembly gradually became solemn and sacred. While listening to the chants, the sentient beings were filled with anticipation and reverence for this miraculous Dharma method. The compassionate teacher Buddha's compassionate smile reminded everyone to maintain a pure and tranquil mind, to recite the Buddha's name with focused attention, and to experience the boundless merits and power behind the chants. Many began reciting these chants with devout hearts. Though each person's circumstances were different, and their inner struggles varied greatly, the words of the compassionate teacher Buddha seemed to penetrate the hearts of every sentient being at that moment, awakening their inner wisdom
and strength.
Some had accumulated various ailments due to physical and mental exhaustion and overwork. Others suffered from chronic physical illnesses caused by years of unhealthy habits. There were also those tormented by spiritual pain and afflictions, unable to find true peace. Regardless of the source of their suffering, the compassionate teacher Buddha's chants brought healing to them at different levels. A celestial being also came to listen to the Buddha Dharma at this Dharma assembly. Originally, he was an existence of outstanding intelligence and ability, but for a long time, his body had been weak, and even some illnesses prevented him from handling heavy workloads. He felt physically and mentally exhausted and spiritually weary, as if no matter how hard he tried, he could never regain his former brilliance. When the Buddha Master's Dharma sound fell upon his ears, he decided to recite the Buddha's name diligently, hoping to receive healing. After reciting for some time, he gradually felt his body regaining strength, and the weariness in his heart began to dissipate. Miraculously, his illnesses slowly lessened, his spirit revived, and his complexion recovered, as if the light of life had once again illuminated his inner being. Similar inspirations continued to occur, and more people began to discover that reciting the Buddha's name not only helped alleviate their physical ailments, but also made their hearts clear and tranquil. The Buddha Master's wisdom and light not only illuminated their bodies, but also their inner worlds. Some had been trapped in anxiety and fear, often worrying about past mistakes and the uncertainties of the future. Through reciting the Buddha's name, these individuals gradually learned to let go of the distractions and burdens in their hearts, experiencing an unprecedented sense of peace and serenity. They began to understand that the root of illness lies not only in the body but also in the attachments and ignorance within the heart. The Buddha's name brought them not only physical and mental healing but also spiritual enlightenment. Among them, an elderly woman who had been bedridden for a long time movingly shared her personal experience. For many years, she had been troubled by physical illnesses, especially arthritis, which made it almost impossible for her to move, and she needed assistance with even the simplest daily tasks. By chance, she heard others praising the Buddha Master's name and decided to give it a try. At first, she did not hold much hope and simply wanted to give it a chance. But gradually, she felt her body becoming lighter, and the pain in her joints seemed to slowly lessen. She persisted in reciting the Buddha's name every day. After a few months, she was surprised to find that her physical condition had significantly improved, and her legs, which had previously been immobile, regained flexibility. What comforted her even more was that her heart was no longer filled with fear. Her emotions became more peaceful, as if all her suffering had found an outlet. It was not just her physical illness that was healed. Even the troubles of the mind were purified under the blessing of the Buddha's name. Many began to recall their past afflictions, the anxieties, fears, and unease that had long haunted them. All quietly dissipated during the recitation of the Buddha's name. As time passed, their hearts gradually became serene, growing more composed and at ease. The Buddha's name was like a potent spiritual remedy, capable of clearing the inner clutter of distracting thoughts and restoring inner tranquility and peace. These genuine experiences and effects deeply moved and astonished everyone present. The compassion and wisdom of the Buddha brought not only miraculous healing for the body, but also an unparalleled remedy for healing the mind and purifying afflictions. The power of the Buddha's name, as the Buddha stated, originates from the merit of his countless eons of spiritual practice. These 3 recitations of the Buddha's name carry boundless vow power, wisdom, and compassion. They are not merely names in the Dharma, but also the power within every sentient being to resonate with the Buddha's heart. As the recitation continued, the illnesses and afflictions of the beings gradually faded away, their inner wisdom awakened step by step, and the light of life gradually rose within them. The 3 recitations of the Buddha's name were like a spring breeze sweeping across the land, nourishing every soul yearning for liberation and helping all beings transcend their difficulties toward true peace and liberation. At this solemn Dharma assembly, the radiance of the Buddha illuminated the heart of every reciter, and all these transformations stemmed from those 3 recitations, filled with compassion and wisdom. Everyone deeply realized that whether it was physical illness or inner afflictions, as long as they devoutly recited these 3 Buddha's names, they could feel the boundless blessings and inexhaustible meritorious power of the Buddha.